At 42 years old, gospel powerhouse Andria Johnson has just shaken the faith community with revelations that no one saw coming. The Grammy-winning singer, known for her raw authenticity and soul-stirring performances, has finally broken her silence about Pastor Creflo, one of the most powerful and sometimes controversial figures in modern Christianity. For years, whispers surrounded Dollar's ministry, rumors of lavish spending, strict leadership, and tensions behind the scenes. But few dared to speak publicly. Till now. Andria Johnson, a woman who has never shied away from truth, has decided to tell it all. And what she's revealed could change everything. Voice lowers for emphasis. In a recent interview, Andria spoke with an honesty that cut through the noise. She said, "Silence protects power, but truth protects the people." That single sentence sent shockwaves through the gospel world. But how did we get here? To understand the weight of her words, we have to go back to the beginning. Before the fame, before the controversy, before the silence. Andria's rise to fame wasn't easy. Born with an extraordinary gift, she won hearts through BET's Sunday Best, where her voice, powerful, broken and beautiful, made the world take notice. But fame brought pressure. The gospel industry, with all its glamour, also came with expectations and politics few outsiders ever see. Behind the songs of praise and performances, Andria began to see the darker realities of ministry. Control, image management, and the cost of speaking out. Soft instrumental underscoring tension. Insiders close to her say that she grew uncomfortable watching how some church leaders, including Pastor Creflo, handled both money and influence. While she respected his impact, she couldn't ignore what she was seeing, a disconnect between the pulpit and the practice. According to Andria, there were decisions made behind closed doors that didn't align with the teachings preached on stage. Conversations about finances, internal conflicts, and spiritual priorities often left her questioning if the focus had shifted from ministry to management. She described moments when people around her felt silenced, afraid to question or challenge authority. For years, Andria kept those concerns to herself, choosing to focus on music and prayer. But as time went on, she realized her silence was part of the problem. Voice becomes resolute. She said, "When God gives you a platform, it's not just for singing. It's for speaking." That realization marked a turning point. After years of reflection and prayer, Andria made a bold choice: to speak up, no matter the cost. Her decision wasn't impulsive. It was spiritual. She understood the risks. Speaking out against a figure like Creflo could jeopardize her relationships, her reputation, even her career. But she also knew that truth has a price, and she was willing to pay it. And when she finally spoke, the impact was immediate. In a heartfelt message, she revealed that there were patterns of leadership within Dollar's ministry that raised serious concerns, from financial transparency to how congregants and staff were treated. She talked about decisions being made without proper consultation, about a culture where appearance mattered more than accountability. But what really caught attention was her mention of financial ethics. She hinted that some donations and ministry funds weren't being used the way people believed. Though she didn't go into full detail, her tone was clear. She had seen enough to know something wasn't right. Her words hit deep because they touched a nerve in the gospel world. The issue of money in ministry, one of the most sensitive topics in modern faith. Voice softens. Andria's message wasn't just an accusation. It was a call to conscience. She wasn't trying to destroy a ministry. She was trying to wake it up. As she said, "I'm not here to tear down. I'm here to tell the truth so that healing can begin." But not everyone was ready for the truth. The moment her statement went public, the internet exploded. Fans were divided. Supporters hailed her as a hero, a woman of courage standing up for righteousness. Others accused her of betrayal, claiming she was attacking the church. The gospel world had never seen anything like it. And the story was just getting started. End Part 1 teaser. Stay tuned because in Part 2 we'll break down what happened next. The fallout, the reactions, and the shocking ripple effects that continue to shake the faith community to this day. Opening music builds. tension mixed with reflection. When Andria Johnson spoke out, her words spread like wildfire. Within hours, clips of her statements flooded social media. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere people were talking. Hashtags like #LuAndriaSpeaks and #ChurchAccountability began trending. Fans called her brave. Critics called her reckless. But one thing was certain: no one could ignore her anymore. Fellow gospel artists began to react too. Some quietly supported her, sharing posts about truth and courage without mentioning names. Others publicly applauded her, saying it was time someone said what many had been whispering for years. But there were also those who pushed back, saying she should have handled things privately. They warned that public confrontation could divide the church and damage reputations. Andria responded calmly. Division doesn't come from truth. It comes from denial. Voice deepens for emphasis. And that's when the conversation shifted. From controversy to accountability. Her revelations forced people to ask difficult questions. How transparent should ministries really be about finances? Are church leaders above criticism? And what happens when those called to lead forget the humility that leadership requires? Even some longtime followers of Creflo admitted they had sensed something was off but didn't feel safe to speak up. Andria's courage gave them permission to start talking. Gospel media outlets ran the story for days. Reporters revisited Dollar's past controversies, from his prosperity teachings to his lavish lifestyle. Private jets, mansions, designer suits. Many wondered if Andria's words were the spark that would ignite a larger reckoning in the gospel world. Beyond the headlines, something deeper was happening. Her actions opened a door for a broader dialogue about integrity in leadership, financial ethics, and the difference between charisma and character. As Andria herself said, "If we can sing about truth, we should be able to live it." The fallout was personal too. She received messages of support from fans who said her bravery inspired them to speak out in their own churches and communities. But she also faced criticism, from those who saw her as divisive or disrespectful to authority. Yet through it all, she stayed calm, continuing to sing, preach, and share her faith. She made it clear that her goal wasn't revenge. It was restoration. Soft piano background. Her message has since evolved into a movement, a call for the gospel community to re-examine what true leadership looks like. Not perfection, but accountability. Not luxury, but service. Andria's story is now being seen as a turning point, a reminder that no leader, no matter how powerful, should be above accountability. And no follower should be afraid to ask questions. Even some pastors have begun referencing her statements in sermons, using them as examples of courage and conviction. What started as one woman's testimony has become a mirror reflecting the state of faith leadership in America today. Emotional pause. And perhaps that's the beauty of it all, that even through controversy, truth can heal. As Andria said in a recent post, "This isn't about taking down a man. It's about lifting up the truth. Because where truth lives, freedom begins." Her story continues to inspire those who believe in faith without fear, worship without walls, and leadership that reflects the love of God, not just the image of it. Ending line, cinematic tone. Andria Johnson didn't just expose a man. She exposed a system. And in doing so, she may have started a movement that will change gospel leadership forever.